Let's go. Let's go. Uh, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me. I am Jay Rome. This is Real Bread Life. I apologize for not being here last week, but now we're back. We're on for the next show. And I just wanted to hold on a second. Get to my joint here. I just wanted to thank the couple of people that did message me and did text me and were asking where was I at. I appreciate that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through today. We're going to be live, and then I'm going to go live again in the next couple of days with a little bit more on the topic that I have today. First off, let me just say you can catch us everywhere at Real Bread League. All platforms is Real Bread League, Real Bread Life, and Real Bread Logistics. If you punch in any of those, and if you go realbreadleague.com, realbreadlife.com, rbljug.com, any of those, we will pop up. With that being said, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, still figuring out how to work it. But for the time being, I'm going to just get through what I got to get through right now. There has been a few different things going on. First of all, I was on vacation for a few days. I was out of the office. I was out of the sales center. And upon my return today, I was greeted by a few different people with the information, or I'm going to say misinformation. And the reason I'm saying misinformation is because nobody really knows. And I have this thing that I always say, and I hate to say this about grown men. And sometimes being in the sales center or in the depot is like being in high school. It's just so crazy to me, the way that some people talk. And I could get it. And I mean, I could understand it if it was some people that were a lot younger, you know, if they're in their 20s, if they're I don't know, in their late teens. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about guys that are 50, 60 years old, 40s, late 40s, late 30s, whatever the case may be. I'm going to say from late 20s to 60 something years old, and not all, but a lot with a childish mentality. They're speaking like children and gossiping like chicks. It's just, I just can't take it anymore. I have to say something. And the reason I'm saying something is I can't, I just can't, I can't continue to stand by and watch people whining and crying. Some of them have valid points of concern with different things, and some of them are just talking out their ass. That's it. There's no other way to say it. You're spitting garbage. You're talking trash, literal trash. You don't even know what you're talking about. So with that being said, I just wanted to address a couple of things, or just ask a few questions, and maybe just someone else could put the answer, because I don't have the answers. And what I'm talking about is this. So there's a lot of changes going on in the company that we're partnering with, and who we work with, and what we do. You know what I mean? So with these changes, as we've spoken about this last week, we've spoken about this months ago, we've been talking about this for a year, because this thing has been supposedly happening for the last year. And that is the restructure, or the buying back of routes, or the adding of products to different routes in different areas, territories, in different parts of the country. And what we do know, which is factual, that in the Northeast where we are, there is a restructure type thing going to happen, right? As it pertains to certain aspects of the businesses that we partner with. And I'm going to just say it like that, because I'm going to say I'm not authorized, and I'm not sure. You know, when people have these things, when they speak and they say allegedly, I'm going to use that. Okay. Because no one's going to be able to hold me accountable for saying something that I did not know to be factual. What is factual, though? I can tell you what's an absolute 1000% fact is no one has all the facts. That is a fact. No one outside of top tier management in the company has all the facts. There's a chain of hierarchy. And what I always like to say is we are the boots on the ground, right? We're the ones in the field. We're running the plays. Okay. So the money is earned with us. The money is earned with us. But the money is made in the boardrooms, in the offices, and on that top tier level of management. That's where the money's made. The money's earned with us. Some of you are going to watch this. Some of you are going to hear this, and you're not going to understand it because that's the level that you're at. We are the earners. We earn the money. They make most of the money. And what we have to do is figure out how to not let them turn our earning power into more of their earning, them earning more. So the money's earned with us. So when I say that, what I'm talking about is the boots on the ground. We have the firsthand account of what we need. And the reason I'm saying it in this way is because this is my firsthand me being affected personally with what I'm saying. And this is why. The Super Bowl was at the beginning of the month, right? And the big push was we need to get these 16s out. We need to get these rolls out. We need to have this roll display in this store. And what I said was, no, we don't, because it's the winter time. I don't care if it's the Super Bowl. It's still February in the Northeast, in New England. There is never, ever going to be a time you're going to tell me there's a high percentage of people making hamburgers and hot dogs in February, enough to generate a profit off of a roll display in a big store. It's just not going to happen. I don't care who says it. I don't care what model, what AI generation, what trend you're following, or where you think this was a good idea. It's not a good idea. The reason why, which we know, is this is the Northeast. This isn't Texas. This isn't Florida. This isn't North, South Carolina, Virginia, the Midwest, Las Vegas, California. You name any of those states from here to there. Okay? The teams in the Super Bowl were the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. You know where Seattle is? If you don't, it's on the other end of the continent. New England, right here. Seattle, over here. They're split from end to end in the corners of the continent. The two states with the people in the Super Bowl weren't making hot dogs and hamburgers at that level. So what happens? I bring in hundreds of hot dogs and hamburgers. And what happens last week and this week? I bring out hundreds of hot dogs and hamburgers. No profit to be made, just work to be done. And I say all that to say this. Just because something sounds good or looks good on paper does not mean it translates well into an actual activity that's going to work. We all have bright ideas. We all think of some things and say, oh, We want to try it. But that's just it. Try it. But why would you try something if someone knows already that it's not going to work? What's good for the goose isn't good for the gander. You know, everybody can't walk and chew bubble gum. Everybody can't juggle the same way. So I just have this thing that it's a whole lot of ideas that aren't run through or even run by the right people at the right time. So I'm saying all that to say I know how I'm going to approach the next couple roll holidays that come up because I just know what I know. When you do this business long enough, you kind of get, if you haven't done it long enough, I understand. But once you know, you know. You're never going to tell me someone's going to come in here new and tell me they know more or they know better than what I know to be the fact in a store that I've spent the last 14, 15 years in. It's just not, I'm not going for that. I'm not going to be able to do it. Now, things that are, I would say, set in the company model that have to be done, like, it's a new product that has to be put out. That's fine. But the debate on you should or shouldn't, what do you think? I know what I think. I think I know. That's just it. So I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. It just does not translate well. Everything that, that's why they have stuff they say they're going to try it out. And it doesn't, some things just don't work. Some things just don't work. We're at a place right now and we have, I probably could list them off and do a visual. I wish I would have, but there's 100 different kinds of breads. And we may be, I'm going to say probably between all companies, probably 300 to 400 different bread related products, right? 300 to 400. Let's just say that 300 to 400 bread related products. All right. Across, just say four major companies, 300 to 400, maybe 500. I'm probably sure I could get away with saying 500 different bread related products between 500 companies. And I'm not talking about the chips and the Takis, things like that, or cookies, right? For that matter, just bread related products. And that means when we're talking Thomas products and all of the flours, Pepperidge, Bimbo, Schmidt, and not even going into Mission with the wraps. So I'm going to say I'm cutting it short. I'm going to go bigger. Let's say 700 to 800 different products. The reason I'm throwing that number out there, right? That's the choices that people have when it comes to the bread aisle between name brand bread and store bread as well. Because all stores, major markets, whether they're smaller, whether it's a Publix, a Ralph's, whatever you want, and anywhere in the country, they all pretty much bake or buy their bread in a plain bag or their private label. They get it from somewhere. So there's so many different products with that much variety and that much choice that people have. All the companies continue to throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks. And it's just so crazy that I see the cycle because everyone knows everything goes in cycles. It starts one way and ends another. It always comes back to the same thing. What did we start with? Just bread. What was it? White. What did it turn into? Wheat. And then from there, through the roof. It's to the moon. If you stacked all the different companies' breads, you probably could touch you can go out the atmosphere. My point is, I can't wait for the smarter company to just go basic. Go back to basic. Don't let me figure it out. Because once I figure it out, it's over. Just go back to basic. You got some bread with so much stuff on top of it or in it, it's not even eatable. It's just the bread's too busy, right? The bread is too busy. So that's all. I mean, it's just go back to bread, man. Regular old bread. Bread on the shelf. Put the bread on the shelf. And I get it. One of the biggest things that is a big mover right now are the healthier breads, gluten free, the ketos. Every company has a keto bread and some type of bread that's more healthy. And I know we do, and they do move. I'm not even gonna lie to you, they move from the low cal Italian, the Sara Lee low calorie breads, the low calorie they have the Thomas products. So it's a lot of different things you can eat that are healthy, right? But not getting away from basic bread. You know, you know what? You're right. What's going on, Los? Glad you could join me, good brother. Uh it's like buying a house or a car, you don't know what you want. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's so many choices, man. And you know what they say when you look for a house. This is what I was told a long time ago. You gotta look at a lot of houses. And I had to stay out of people's business when I would talk. Man, we're looking for a house. And I'm like, how many you look at? The three. I think we want this one. And I was like, no, but I'm projecting my stuff on them. So I had to back up. They just told me look at a lot of different houses. And that's just probably a different topic for a different day, but I get it, Los. Yeah, and the half loaves. And that's major. The half loaves are killing them right now. They even have in Walmart a mini loaf. This thing is probably this big. I don't even, if there's not 8 slices in there, maybe 9. If it's 10, it might be because I think the thing only cuts 10, but it is so small, that short mini loaf. And that's what people are looking for nowadays. They are. Whether they're just not eating as much bread, they might be elderly and they might live alone. However their life is structured, that's what they're doing. And that's fine. And that's fine. I just want to make sure that I got that out because there's just so much going on with the miscommunication. That's what it was. I'm sorry. I got away from what I was talking about. Miscommunication between company and partners or even employees and companies, because I know guys that work for companies and, been employed and been in the business for 15, 20, 30 years. And you get guys coming in brand new and okay, you worked in the supermarket, right? And you got the job now and you're working for one of the companies and you're MSL and you're partnering and you're trying to help the guy and you're trying to tell the person that's been doing it forever what to do. I get it. You worked in the supermarket, but you didn't deliver the bread consistently. So you're in management. You're not in vending. You're not in the sales of the bread. Okay. It's the same old thing. And I have to use this analogy because we are the boots on the ground. It's so crazy that the people that are the most strategic during the war, and I'm not making light of any military or anybody that's been in war. If your IQ is that low and that's where your feelings go, then shame on you. So I'm just using this as an analogy. The people that fight the war are the ones on the ground, but the people in the rooms are making the decisions. And when somebody on the ground is telling them, hey, we need to do this, this, and this, and they say, no, 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 no. This is what we're going to do. Just doesn't make sense. And then it doesn't go good, and they wonder why. Same thing as what we do. We are out there. We know. So, and this is no slight to anybody that I know that is an MSL or that are managers. If this applies to you, you know who you are. If this is not for you, then don't be offended. Do better. If you think this is you, do better. I always try to do better. I'm not too big to say, my bad. That was my fault. I messed that up. Because no one's perfect. Only God, not me. So that's it. That was just one of the things I had to talk about. I wanted to talk about. On another note, got some snow coming tomorrow afternoon and late morning, and it's going to rock for a few hours in the area where we are. So if you don't know, now you know. It's going to be snowing tomorrow, and then also snow Sunday. Again, this is in the Northeast. I don't know where everybody's located, but if you watch this, we got some snow coming, okay? Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. That was my rant for today. I really wanted to talk about the miscommunication and the misunderstanding that goes on, and just to have some clarity and allow for it's okay it's okay. Just, if you don't know, you don't know. But once you know, shame on you. You know, if you hold that ball out like a loaf of bread and you fumble at the goal line more than once, you can't run the ball anymore. I'm gonna have to tell you, we can't put the ball in your hands anymore. So again, we can't afford to take big losses. You know, in this business, there's always going to be some losses. They told me before, it's the cost of doing business when you got to bring back stale, when product gets cut, when your truck breaks down, when you run into those obstacles and those things you got to get around, over, or through. Excuse me, I apologize. They say that's the cost of doing business, but it shouldn't always be so expensive. And if there's things we can avoid, we need to avoid them. If there's things we can help, we need to help them not to happen so often. And that's just to have better communication and understanding. I've said this before. One of the worst things that can happen when it comes to communication is thinking that it happened and it didn't. All right. So with that being said, I'll be back in a couple days with a different topic and some visuals. But that's all I got for now. Stay blessed and keep stacking. Carlos, thanks for joining in. Appreciate you, good brother.